So in this segment, we're going to be talking about meetings between EU and UK officials to resolve some of the problems within the Northern Ireland Protocol. Obviously, the Northern Ireland Protocol is going nowhere, but at least this is progress. It shows some goodwill, especially on the UK side, after we broke some bits of the Northern Ireland Protocol. And in the second half of the video, we're going to be talking about the UK asking for a deadline extension on the legal action the EU is taking on the UK for breaching parts of the Northern Ireland Protocol. So let's get into the first half of the video, which is about European Union and UK officials are embarking on a process of technical and political talks which could result in a new joint document on resolving the outstanding issues within the Northern Ireland Protocol. The Northern Ireland Protocol is here most likely for the long term, because without this, there will be a hard border within the Republic of Ireland, between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, and you're asking for absolute chaos. Like, it'll be worse than it is now. So diplomats have told RTE News that technical talks have been itching forward positively. Political boost by the UK's lead minister, Lord David the Iceman Frost, and his EU counterpart Maros Sefcovic, as early as this week. So at least they're talking to each other, which is better than the UK taking unilateral action all the time. Whilst the rioting in Northern Ireland has gripped the headlines, there is a technical and political process underway involving London and Brussels. But the main issue, or one of the issues that can be seen, is that it's not just about the border checks that are happening, or the implications of the border checks, which are the increase in food costs. It's because there is a border within the Irish Sea, which is a key problem for unionists within Northern Ireland. So on the 31st of March, the UK sent a document to the European Commission spelling out its views on the outstanding issues over the Northern Ireland Protocol. The Commission said it fell short on some points, but there was a view that since the UK was serious about implementing the protocol, so the EU was seeing as at least you're talking to us instead of throwing a tantrum again. The UK government has demanded a large degree of flexibility from the EU, but EU diplomats say that if London continues to show it is implementing the protocol, then flexibility would be forthcoming. So the EU is saying that, look, you do what you've agreed to do, and then we'll go from there, Chief, and we'll see what things can be changed. It is understood that both sides are working towards a joint document, although the document could take several weeks. A virtual meeting between Frost and Sefcovic will take place soon. I think that's become not a virtual meeting, but an IRL, in real life meeting between the two people. So it's understood that the European Commission has informally raised the idea of a EU-UK veterinary agreement, which officials say could do away with 90% of the checks and controls on the Irish Sea, which would be quite interesting. And I've seen this 90% figure twice, that if it's just over SPS things, like animal, so probably be live animals, animal products, and some plant-based products, that would be quite interesting, that if you get an agreement on that, most of the checks go away. However, both sides remain far apart on what kind of alignment with EU food safety the UK would have to agree to. And we've got a separate video that will come out about how it's easier for the EU to import beef from Northern Ireland than it is from the UK. And we've got some more detail here from The Guardian, and of course it's Lisa O'Carroll, shocker there, does great work. So Downing Street official spokesperson said the discussions have been constructive, but there were still significant differences that need to be resolved, and that will be over kind of the UK. If this idea of an SPS alignment is being discussed, it would be kind of how they would spin it, and what would be the kind of rules around the alignment, and how much would the UK have to align with EU rules, and what would happen if EU rules do change. So sources said that while progress is being made on Northern Ireland, efforts did not involve removing checks on goods, but instead were being concentrated on removing the series of rolling deadlines from the implementation of border control. So, there are some mixed messages here. One saying that this is just mainly about deadlines, and another one saying that it's about what kind of technical resolutions could there be to lessen the impact of checks within the Irish Sea. So again, contradictory evidence, but at least we're seeing some communication between the two groups. One option is a new series of agreed milestones to be achieved involving agreement with business and civic society before each of the protocol is implemented. It would mirror public health experts' data, not dates, advice to Boris Johnson. So it's basically saying we're going to involve business and other groups to into the discussion, which doesn't really mean a lot. I mean, they should have been included from the start, but whatever. The talks began a fortnight ago, and they're still communicating now. This is on top of the EU taking legal action on the UK for taking unilateral actions to extend the grace periods for checks on supermarket goods going from Great Britain to Northern Ireland. So, that's still a thing. That's still happening, legal action, but we don't know specifically what's happening with that. A cabinet source played down the row, claiming the dispute was a result of an unfortunate mismatch of communications last month. This is about the UK taking unilateral action. It does seem like more than a mismatch of communications. But this is a change from policy from February, when Michael Gove demanded the protocol be delayed until 2023. So it does look like a giant climb down on behalf of Great Britain. So last week, the Northern Ireland Secretary Brandon Lewis told political parties in Belfast that the protocol would not be scrapped, despite demands by the DUP, who want to see absolute chaos to get what they want, which is Ireland to stay as closely aligned with Great Britain as possible and as far away from the Republic of Ireland as it can. It says there is an urgent political need to calm the atmosphere in Northern Ireland, but there is a recognition in London, Dublin and Brussels that any deal centering on the protocol will not address loyalist protests, because, as we stated before, it's not just over the fact there are checks in the Irish Sea, it's the fact that there's a trade border in the first place. Brexit checks down the Irish Sea have enraged loyalist communities who see the trade border as an assault on Northern Ireland's place within the Union of the UK, something we've just kind of discussed. But it's more... people in the DUP are not angry that, their stuff's been delayed or things have gone up in price. They're angry that, there is a border there in the first place which separates, Northern Ireland from Great Britain. That's what they're angry about. EU sources have put it to UK officials that 90% of border checks could disappear if Britain agreed to align food standards with the bloc. So that's like an SPS agreement. So again, that 90% figure does pop up, which is quite interesting. Purely because if you could do an SPS alignment and get rid of most of the checks, that should be a no-brainer, but it would scupper any chance of the UK agreeing a trade deal with the US, but that's not going to happen anyways, given the fact that Joe Biden is the president, it's 50-50 in the Senate, and the Democrats have the House for now. So that US trade deal was never going to happen. Ireland's Europe Minister Thomas Bryan told the BBC the situation was delicate, but he hoped it would be excellent if a veterinary deal could be achieved, as it would resolve problems both in Northern Ireland and those facing food exporters in Great Britain. It will benefit massively the food exporters in Great Britain, but this will not solve the main issues within Northern Ireland, because the main issue isn't that there are checks. The main issue isn't just that there are checks within the Irish Sea, it's that there's a border in the first place, a trade border. That's the main issue a lot of the DUP-sters and all those people have. Many people see such an agreement as unlikely, because entering into such a deal would represent a complete U-turn from the UK, which, means that most likely an SPS agreement isn't going to happen unless there's a way for the UK to spin it as some sort of success. Which, if we do have some sort of regulatory alignment where maybe it's like the Swiss agreement, where, we have to keep updating standards, or maybe it's like the New Zealand one where they've both New Zealand and the EU have accepted equivalency, and I don't think that New Zealand have to keep improving standards massively when the EU does. If we have to do that sort of stuff, it makes Brexit look stupid, because we are adhering to EU standards. The only difference now is that we don't have a say over what those standards are going to be. So it makes Brexit look very stupid. So we've mentioned that bit. However, industry insiders say this will not address loyalist concerns, as there will still be paperwork, and there'll still be things like paperwork and vet checks. It's just the EU won't be as aggressive in the checks that they do. Because I've read an article here which says that so with the UK's New Zealand deal, both of them recognising standards. New Zealand's arrangement with Brussels mean that around only 1% of its goods are subject to SPS checks upon arrival versus 30% for the UK. So if the EU wanted to, they could check 100% of everything that comes out of the UK, and cause massive border problems and make trade with the UK absolutely untenable. But they've decided not to do that. Not to mention the EU would have to hire more customs and customs agents and vets to do that sort of thing. But that's not outside the realm of possibility for the EU to have pulled a stunt like that. But it just shows some goodwill that only 30% of things are being checked. However, if we did have an SPS agreement, it might be closer to 1% of stuff being checked from the UK. Obviously, you still need customs paperwork and vet checks to be done on this side, but maybe they won't do as many vet checks on the other side, which will lessen delays because there's that trust. Their trust within trade is so important. So the agri-food sector is instead urging the EU and UK to take a pragmatic approach by extending the categories of food deemed not at risk of crossing into the Republic of Ireland to include food. But I think if that's to happen, the EU has also requested real-time access to customs and border check data in Belfast port. So that would probably help the EU check if any products are going in from Northern Ireland into the Republic of Ireland, which creates a backdoor into the EU. So we've got that. We've got a bit more information, which is that Lord Frost is like we've discussed before, that Frost and Sefcovic are going to meet on Thursday, which is today. The video is being recorded on Thursday, so if anything does come out of this that's constructive, I'll update you within a couple of days or as soon as I find out. Those discussions have been described as productive, but people familiar with them have cautioned against any expectations of a major breakthrough. So again, it's more of a sign of goodwill rather than a massive breakthrough that's going to happen. The UK continues to reject the idea of an agreement with the EU on plant and animal measures SPS, which would reduce the levels of checks on trade between Great Britain and Northern Ireland because it would involve dynamic alignment with the EU rules. So this kind of agreement would be more like, I think, the Swiss style, which requires changes within Swiss laws once the EU starts changing laws as well. So that could be quite interesting. EU diplomats are now talking about a cooperation on SPS, which sounds less onerous, but amounts to much the same thing. So again, this is a bit spin. The EU would try and spin it as, we're working together, but we would not be working together. So the UK is continuing to suggest SPS Trusted Trader Scheme, which would sharply reduce the controls on eligible traders who could show the EU they have secure and auditably supply chain, so that their supply chains are safe. There's no chance of contamination, and any issues, the supply chain can be audited. So the farms, the butchers, all of that can be audited if there are issues. However, I don't think the EU will agree to that. Says the EU have rejected this idea at an earlier stage, and most likely they're going to keep saying no to that. Separately, the UK has until the end of this week to respond to the EU's letter on the 15th of March, which launched infringement proceedings. This is the legal action, and if we go to our final bit for this video, which is that the United Kingdom has asked for more time to respond to the legal action taken by the EU over its unilateral decision to ease requirements of the Northern Ireland Protocol. So we know this is public. The EU are taking legal action on the UK, but we don't know what precisely is going to happen. The UK was given more than 1 month to respond to the two letters. However, two sources have told RTE that Frost has asked for an extra month to respond to the legal action. One source described the letters as courteous and respectful. Lord Frost is also understood to have stressed the complexity of the issues involved. But I thought Brexit was going to be simple. Evidently not. And the more we diverge from EU standards, the more complicated Brexit will become. So anyways, what can we gather from this video is that the EU and the UK are sort of talking more about, kind of possible solutions to issues within the Northern Ireland Protocol. But so long as the protocol exists, there will be issues within Northern Ireland who see, not just the checks being an issue, but the trade border being one of the major issues. Also, the fact that the UK has ruled out any kind of SPS alignment which would reduce checks massively within the Irish Sea by about 90%, and also reduce checks of British products going towards France, British sort of kind of meat and plant products going to France and through Dover. So also the fact that the UK have asked for a delay to the EU's legal proceedings because, quote, he Lord David the Iceman Frost, is also understood to have stressed the complexity of the issues involved. So, clearly not as simple as Brexit is made out, but yeah. At least this is more positive than when the UK was demanding that the EU, delay the Irish protocol until 2023, and was making other demands. At least we're having some communication now. However, this issue will remain, and I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future and what's going to come out of these meetings, but I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.